All right, so I mentioned in the last step that we need to add a little bit of code to our laser prefab before we can actually get that thing to work properly. So we need to create a laser script. Before we do that, we need to also add a tag to our turret. And the reason for that will become clear later on, but for now, we can go ahead and go to our tag drop down on the turret model under our turret and go to add tag, and then type turret here and hit save. And then select the turret model and select that turret tag. And then go back up to the parent object and hit apply all in the overrides dropdown to get that tag to also apply to our prefab. Now what we need to do is go to our created scripts folder, right click, go to create and C# script, and we're going to call this laser. And then in our gameplay prefabs folder, find the turret laser prefab and hit add component and laser. There we go. Once we've got that there, we can go ahead and open that script up and we can delete all of this good stuff here. And what we need to do now is add a void on trigger enter, or a private void on trigger enter, just like that. And the first thing we want to check for is if our other dot collider or game object dot tag is equal to player. So if we hit the player, we want to make them take damage. So we'll say other dot get component player controller open and close parentheses take damage. There we go. We want to say if other dot game object dot tag equals turret. So if the thing we're hitting is the turret, we want to return. And so what this means is that if we hit the turret, which most likely when you spawn the laser, it's going to be partially inside the turret's collider. So realistically, every turret or every laser we fire is going to hit the turret. We want to do a return because a return is going to prevent any of the code after this from running. And what we're about to see is that the code after this is going to destroy the laser. We're going to type destroy game object, and we're going to add just like a 0.1 second delay by saying 0.1f. And so, yeah, by adding this return, that will make it so that when we spawn our laser, it doesn't immediately just destroy itself because it's touching the turret body. We only want to have it destroy itself if it hits a wall, if it hits the player, or if it hits the box that we're holding. And the idea here is that the player is able to use the box as a shield to prevent themselves from getting hit. Actually, now that I think about it, we probably want to just remove this delay altogether for that exact reason, because if we crank the laser speed up high enough, and the box hits the laser, that 0.1 second could be enough time for it to actually go through the box and hit the player. So never mind on the delay there. We'll just have it say just destroy game object, just like this. And then we can go ahead and save the script there. Now we can move back to our scene and we can finally test out our turret. So my turret's kind of rotated here because I fixed that prefab. So we need to rotate that back up to 0 here. Make sure our turret laser prefab is selected, and we do have that laser script. And of course, all of our stuff that deals damage is going to deal 1 damage, so we don't need to have like a damage variable or anything on our laser. So I'm going to save my scene, and then I'm going to test it out by hitting play and turning around, finding that turret, and now we can see it is firing at us. It looks like it only shot once. So we should maybe address that because we want it to keep firing at us. So we'll go back into our turret script and see what we can find. Oh, we forgot to add the firing equals false line down at the bottom of this. So we just need to drop down underneath game object, .get component, velocity, all that stuff, and just say firing equals false. And now if we go back and test, we will see it fires once, it fires again. There we go. And it looks at, I actually really like the speed that this is moving at. It's it's actually relatively easy to dodge, but if I get hit once, twice, 3 times, then the scene will restart. So yeah, basically the idea with this thing is that we want to position it throughout our level so that the player has another obstacle to dodge as they're jumping and swinging around. This thing isn't the best at sniping while you're in motion, but when you're trying to jump out onto like a moving platform or something, these lasers can certainly get in the way. So of course, make sure you save your scene after that. Do not forget to add that extra line there at the bottom of the fire coroutine. Yeah, that should be good. You should be good to go. And the next step, we'll keep going.